This week we are back with another video. This week we are going to be investigating a bad burner on my furnace and then hopefully fixing it. I also purchased a gas valve to put on the propane line of my furnace to increase its safety while I've got it all taken apart. Okay, so the very first step here is going to be taking this furnace apart down to bare bones so that I can get access to that burner. Okay, so I've got these burners taken off of my furnace here, and I took both the end wing nuts and the respective washers off of these burners so that I can have a good look inside of these. Now, on an initial glance, what you'll notice is that they look basically identical. There's no glaring obvious problems with these, which means that it wasn't a simple matter of any sort of blockage or anything like that. Now, the way that these furnaces work is there is a little pinhole inside of this gas line in each burner where the gas comes out. My working hypothesis at the moment is that the pinhole on this burner, which this is the bad burner, is clogged or has some issue with it. So my first step is I'm going to cut the gas line here because I have to do so anyways to put on this new gas valve that I bought to make it safer. And once I've cut this, I might run an air compressor through it with this valve open first to feel how much air comes out of this burner. Then I'll close it up and see if I can free any cloggage that might be in there somehow. Okay. So, I've got this valve open right here. So if this is the path of least resistance, in other words, if this valve is clogged, I should theoretically only hear the air coming out of this burner right here if I blow into the end of this cutoff line. Now, if you listen closely, that air is coming out of this burner right here, which means that burner is open, and there is likely some clog in this one, because otherwise some amount of air would be coming out. Now, to double check that, I'm going to close this valve off once I've been blowing into it, and we'll see if the airflow shifts over to the other burner. And you couldn't hear that. I could, but my microphone on my camera is probably not good enough, but there was an ever so slight amount of air that came out on this side. So, my hypothesis is likely correct that there is something inside of that burner blocking the little pinhole. So, I'm going to go grab my air compressor, or rather, I'm going to take this outside real quick, and we're going to grab my air compressor and see if blowing a bunch of high pressure air through this will help. I take it back. So, the first thing I'm going to try and do, and I want to have this on camera in case it works, is I'm going to try and stick this wire down the end of the burner and see if I can poke that air hole back open. Okay, so I actually got this one opened up a little bit. It's still not quite as clear and open as this one. You can tell from the amplitude of the psst sound when the gas is going through, or in this case, air when I'm blowing through. So if you listen really quickly, you can actually hear it now, hopefully. But if you listen to the other one, when I turn it on, you'll hear that this one is actually much louder. However, that is so much better than it was before. It'll actually run like that. Something was definitely clogging the pinhole. Interestingly enough, I would never be able to get a camera shot to show this off, but the little pinhole on this side looked a lot darker when I was shining the light on it than on this side. This side looked like clean bare metal, like this stainless right here, versus this looked like it almost had the black paint that's on the outside in it or something like that. Now, the next step is just going to be putting this new valve on so that I have a good, safer valve. I've got these new clips right here, and we're going to just hook it all back up together so I have a new, nice safety valve. Just to show off the functionality of this now. So now, because this is closed, when it's hooked up to my other gas line here, nothing comes out. And there we go. We've got that swapped back out. So now I've got my nice valve here so I can open and close the gas whenever I want to run, so that it gives me a little more flexibility. I don't like how this is already weighing it over and folding it over, so I'll probably make a little jig of some sort out of a piece of metal to just hold this up like here, so it's held up and out of the way. Okay, while that burner's not completely clear, it's a lot better than when I started. I could try and clean it even further, but getting to that stainless steel gas line is going to be a lot more hassle than it's worth. It'll be perfectly fine for general forging purposes at this point, and if I need to do any forge welding, I'm going to consider either buying a separate, smaller propane furnace to do so, or a more powerful separate burner that I can hook up to this furnace whenever I want to do forge welding. I'm also very, very relieved to finally have a safety valve on the top of that furnace. It's been a cause of concern for quite some time now, but I'm just now using my furnace regularly, so it needed to be addressed. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you did. And I will see you next week. Bye!